Okay, folks, Rich Van Tassel back with you, finishing up the game picks for Week 2 of the NFL season. And of course, as always, recording audio for Get Live Radio. Next game up, the Miami Dolphins, who were also off in Week 1 because of Hurricane Irma, traveled to Los Angeles to play the Chargers, who are making their first start in Los Angeles. The injuries for the visiting Dolphins: Ray Maluga, the linebacker, is out. Jarvis Landry, wide receiver, questionable. For the Chargers, Dontrell Inman, wide receiver, questionable. Jerry Atuchu, linebacker. Sean McGrath, tight end, are also questionable. Jason Verrett, cornerback. Rashawn Jenkins, safety, are out. Miami is going to put it in Jay Cutler's hands. Let's see what he will do under Adam Gase. He had some success in Chicago with Adam Gase. I discussed in the season previews that I feel Miami has a pretty good offensive line with the tackles of Jawan James, and Laramie Tunsil, and also a good center in Pouncey. He didn't usually have a good offensive line in Chicago. I feel that's where some of the mistakes came. I will grant that Jay Cutler made a lot of mistakes on his own, but with an offensive line, I'd like to see what he'll be able to do. He also has the weapons in Jarvis Landry, Kenny Stills, and Devontae Parker. As for the Chargers, we see that their top corner, Jason Verrett, is out, and a safety is out. Against those wide receivers, I see trouble for the Chargers all day long in this game. I think Jay Cutler may turn the ball over some, but he's going to put up some serious yards in this game. Miami is also going to be able to run the ball quite well with Jay Ajayi and be able to come away with the victory in this game. I like the Dolphins pretty easily in this game, 31-23. Next game up, the Oakland Raiders are hosting the New York Jets. The Jets 0-1. The Raiders are 1-0. The Jets lost a road game. Oakland has yet to play at home. Injuries first for the visiting New York Jets. Jonathan Harrison, center. These are all outs. Rontez Miles, safety. Eric Tomlinson, tight end. Bruce Carter, linebacker. Jordan Leggett. For the Oakland Raiders, all questionable. Jamizi Awaliye, fullback. Sean Smith, cornerback. Keith McGill, safety. The Jets are in trouble all season long. Josh McCown was not actually as horrible as I thought he'd be last week, but still not good at all. Only 26 completions, or only 187 yards on 26 completions, so that is not good to have that many completions and have that few of yards. And he also had 13 incompletions and 2 interceptions. But I thought it'd be worse for Josh McCown this season than that, and that's pretty bad. The Jets don't really have any playmakers. I expect Derek Carr to find his offense with Michael Crabtree and Amari Cooper. That's what they do best. Marshawn Lynch was good last week. I expect him to pick it up, even against what would probably be the best part of the Jets team. That's the defensive line. It's not going to be any sort of a challenge for the Oakland Raiders. If the Jets win this game, Oakland either completely just collapsed, didn't take the Jets seriously, whatever. Something catastrophic would have to happen for the Oakland Raiders to lose this game, but it's not going to happen. Easy 31-10 roll for the Oakland Raiders over the New York Jets. The San Francisco 49ers 0-1 travel to Seattle to play the Seahawks, who are 0-1. The 49ers have not played on the road. Seattle has not played at home. Injuries for the 49ers. The rookie linebacker Reuben Foster is out. Jimmy Ward, cornerback, questionable. For the Seattle Seahawks, DeAndre Elliott, cornerback, is on IR, so he's out. Richard Sherman, the cornerback, is questionable. Terrence Garvin, the linebacker, is doubtful. Seattle's got to find some offense in this game and got to find the running game. Eddie Lacy calling you. I don't expect it from Eddie Lacy. CJ Prosise. Last week, Russell Wilson was the top rusher, 2 carries for 40 yards. Which is a 20 yards per carry average, but those were 2 scrambles where he got downfield. Running game non-existent. Russell Wilson did not do much in the passing game. 14-27, 158 yards. Doug Baldwin was his top receiver. So Seattle has got to figure out a way to get some offense together. All in all, I thought San Francisco's defense was presentable. They did get shut out, or they did get hammered by the Carolina Panthers. It wasn't a shutout. But it's a situation where the 49ers offense was not doing their defense any favors. Only 3 points in that game, and certainly the struggles were there where the defense was on the field a lot. Reuben Foster was out of the game pretty early on, and Carolina's offense is not terrible. So Seattle is not going to have a cakewalk in this game. They can't look at it as the 49ers, oh, we're going to get well offensively. They better make some plays. They better figure things out and get it together. I don't see any reason why they wouldn't. If Seattle loses this game, then this season could really be a problem for them. Even in a weak division, you might be able to win it. but you'd be looking at a team that is certainly much more in the pack if Seattle loses this game with the rest of the teams like the Los Angeles Rams and the Arizona Cardinals. I don't expect them to lose. I expect a pretty easy victory, 27-10 over the San Francisco 49ers. Brian Hoyer simply is not capable of taking this offense where it needs to go, especially on the road against the Seattle team coming off a loss. The Dallas Cowboys 1-0 travel to Denver to play the Broncos, who are also 1-0. Injuries for the visiting Cowboys. Orlando Scandrick, the cornerback, is out. Chidobe Awuzie, cornerback, Byron Jones, safety, and Terrence Williams, wide receiver, are all questionable. For the Denver Broncos, Brendan Langley, a cornerback, is out. Jared Crick, a defensive end, is on IR out. Zach Kerr, defensive end, Darian Stewart, safety, Ronald Leary, the former Cowboys guard, is questionable. Obviously, with this game, you look at the instant matchup, the good Denver Broncos pass rush, Von Miller, Shane Ray, those guys against a good Dallas Cowboys offensive line. I thought the Cowboys offensive line handled a good Giants defense last week. It's going to be another tough test for them against the Denver Broncos. They have to keep Dak Prescott upright. Prescott got off to a slow start last week, but found it and got it together. The Cowboys clearly have got to find the end zone more, try to get Dez Bryant involved. A lot of talk about where Dez Bryant is in his career. Is he on the downslide? We'll see. He's got to keep Talib. I would expect to be on him most of this game. It's not going to be an easy matchup for him. So we'll see if the Cowboys are looking to get it to him and initiate him into the offense, or if they're going to let the game come to him. Look for Ezekiel Elliott to run the ball, of course. Even with the injuries in the Cowboys secondary, they have Trevor Siemian, who I'm not too thrilled about. I think the Cowboys secondary can again be proficient against an offense that's not going to be rolling, as the Giants offense was not rolling. Certainly you had a much better quarterback in Eli Manning. Will they be able to get pressure? We'll see. Without Ronald Leary, with Ronald Leary as questionable, they had 3 sacks last week. Keep an eye on that. I think Trevor Siemian is not good enough, and I think the Cowboys are strong. They are a very good road team. They come away with the victory in this one. I like 27-24 over the Denver Broncos. The Washington Redskins traveling cross country to play the Rams. The Redskins are 0-1. The Rams are 1-0. Redskins have not played on the road. The Rams won at home last week. Only one listed injury for both teams. It's on the Redskins. Josh Doctson, the wide receiver, he is listed as questionable. Washington has got to establish a run. Again, a situation where the quarterback was the top rusher last week, 4 carries for 30 yards. That's a good yard per carry average, but those are mostly on scrambles. Kirk Cousins had a critical interception last week, also had 17 incompletions. That's not too uncommon with Kirk Cousins, so will he clean it up a bit? Sometimes he keeps his turnovers down. He does turn the ball over quite frequently, but there are the games he does not. His incompletions are usually very high, though, and that wasn't a surprise to see that in week 1. Jared Goff, very proficient. Todd Gurley did not run the ball well last week. I'm really starting to have my concerns about Todd Gurley after that very good rookie season. Goff, though, 21-29, 306 yards. With Goff and with the rest of the Los Angeles Rams in this game, it's going to be a nice test for them. Washington's not great defensively, but they had a completely just terrible defense in the Indianapolis Colts last week, and they crushed them. So I don't know how much you can take out of that game. We'll see in this one what the Rams can do. Let's see if they try to open it up with Jared Goff a little more. I expect them to probably bring it in just a bit because Washington has a good secondary. It's going to be an interesting game. This might be one of the better games actually this week against two teams that you're looking at around 7-9, 9-7-ish, either way for both teams this year, but still a nice early season game. I'm actually very interested in this one. I think that the Washington Redskins find a way to get the victory in this one. They'll need it to keep pace in what will be a tough division, and I look for them to be able to force Jared Goff into some mistakes and some of those growing pains that he did not get out of the way last year. Todd Gurley, I expect him to continue to struggle until he shows me otherwise. I'm going to pick Todd Gurley to struggle in games. I like the Washington Redskins in a good game, 24-21, possible overtime game over the Los Angeles Rams. And then the Sunday night game, another very good one. The Green Bay Packers at 1-0 travel to Atlanta to play the Falcons. The Packers have not played on the road, and the Falcons have not played at home. And, of course, the Falcons are 1-0 as well, and a rematch of last year's NFC Championship game. For the Green Bay Packers, the injuries, the questionables: Kentrell Bryce, safety; Brian Bulaga, offensive tackle; Mike Daniels, defensive tackle. Ahmad Brooks, a linebacker, is doubtful. Jason Springs, offensive tackle, is out. So you have one out and one questionable on the offensive line. David Bakhtiari has one of those offensive tackle positions, so if neither Balaga or Jason Spriggs can go, you're really stretched thin at the other tackle spot on the right side. For the Atlanta Falcons, Alex Mack, center, and Brian Hill, running back, questionable. Look, Atlanta, I expected them to get a tough test against Chicago. I'm not really at all concerned that they struggled to beat that team. They found a way to win at the end, and like I said last week, I was expecting Chicago to give a very good effort in that one. Green Bay was sloppy early, didn't score many points, was good in the second half last week against the Seattle Seahawks, who have a good defense. Of course, the Atlanta defense is very similar to that Seattle defense, being that Dan Quinn came over from the Seattle Seahawks. Aaron Rodgers, 14 incompletions with an interception last week. His numbers were good, but you've seen a lot better from Aaron Rodgers. Let's see if he picks it up this week. Matt Ryan, very good, 21 of 30, 321 yards last week. Neither running game was good last week. Devontae Freeman, 12 carries for 37 yards. That's just over 3 yards per carry. Ty Montgomery, I'm still wondering if he can be a full-time running back. They gave it to him 19 times last week, and he only had 54 yards. Good receivers on both sides: Jordan Nelson, Randall Cobb, Geronimo Allison for the Green Bay Packers, Julio Jones, Mohamed Sanu for the Atlanta Falcons. But last week it was Austin Hooper who had 128 yards on only 2 receptions. So the big plays were coming from the tight end for the Atlanta Falcons. Very good game on Sunday night. I think the Falcons opening up that new stadium will get the win at home, but it certainly wouldn't surprise me if Green Bay can win this game. It's really a pick 'em either way. Of course, I don't gamble, but when you're looking at it, you don't go with spreads. It's one or the other. I like the Falcons in this one, being at home, and I see the Falcons coming away with a victory in a high-scoring game. I like it 35-31 in favor of the Green Bay Packers. Okay, so just a reminder to those listening on Get Live Radio, you can check out my YouTube channel, the Rich Van Tassel channel, for Monday night game picks, Thursday night game picks, and of course the reviews of all these games when they go final on Sunday. And as far as my YouTube listeners, or my YouTube viewers that is, we will give you the recap of these games when they go final on Sunday. Be sure to stay tuned for that. And remember, we appreciate all subscriptions as well. We'll see you on Sunday. Have a good day and enjoy your weekend. Thanks so much.